The wind surely does a lot of dead branch and limb pruning of trees, and that is good. The wind also brings down live limbs, branches, and occasionally whole trees. In the fall of 2016, I took a walk to our back 40 acres, which is totally wooded. Yes, there were several trees tipped over, mostly older trembling aspen. There were also a couple of maple trees, and one in particular with a double trunk that I thought would make a lot of firewood. Harvesting this tree wouldn't be an easy job, as it was located around the 75-acre line of our property, which is a long way back in the woods. 80 acres is a half mile. I don't own a tractor, and even if I did, the trees are just too close together, and along with the abundant witch hazel and blue beech, I wouldn't be able to get anywhere close to the maple. Through the years, I have done most of my winter wood hauling via a 4-foot long, 19-inch wide, and 10-inch deep black plastic otter sled. I have a thick belt that I believe was used around the neck of cows or young stock, to which I attach a rope, O-rings, and some light chain, and I pull the sled on a snow trail that I developed. After I've used the trail several times, it's fairly easy to pull the sled along. On the morning of March 3rd, 2017, I filled my Husqvarna chainsaw with gas and bar chain oil, loaded it and other equipment in my otter sled, and headed to the woods to cut up that wind-blown maple. After leaving my house, I had to cross part of our 10-acre field that hadn't seen a plow in 31 years. The field is now fertile ground for milkweed, mullein, purple vetch, horsetail, and 2-foot-tall grass. It's a haven for grasshoppers, crickets, dragonflies, monarch butterflies, and a variety of rodents and snakes. The field is valuable to wildlife. I angle across the slender field to the outlet of the old logging road. I call this the 40-acre line road, as that's where our two 40s join. I'm in the woods now, and after a couple turns on this earthen road, I come to a small clearing I call Central. This is as far as I can go with our truck, so I try to get as much wood to Central as I can. 40 yards beyond Central is a small island of land I call Wood Landing. I'm now entering wetter land, so it's a place I can stack wood where it will be high and dry until I can get it to Central. The winter had been very unpredictable, and I didn't know just how long the snow would last. I counted 400 steps from the wood landing to the wind-fallen maple. I got the tree except for about 8 feet of the trunk cut up. I ended up with 68 blocks of wood. I sledded out 9 of the big pieces, 320 yards to a big beech tree, which is close to the wood landing. The next day I split the remaining 59 pieces in half with a sledgehammer and steel splitting wedge. I piled them up about 5 yards from where the tree had fallen, closer to Central. I might point out that our woodland is very uneven, and there are a lot of small crater-like depressions in the forest floor that I believe are referred to as stump cradles, where a tree has tipped over, root system and all, creating a hole where rainwater can collect. So on my way to the project site, I had to walk over frozen water or around pockets of melted water. On March 5th, 2017, I sledded the pile of split pieces 100 yards closer to Central. I hauled 9 pieces of limbwood from the maple on my shoulder, 120 yards closer to Central. These pieces were 7 to 12 feet long and around 3 inches in diameter on the big end. On the 6th, I split the 9 bigger pieces by the beech tree and sledded them to the wood landing, 80 yards away. I also gleaned the limbs from the top of the windblown maple and shouldered many of these pieces out to where I had piled the other limbwood, 120 yards from the project site. Then our snow melted, so I carried a stack of the split maple 65 yards closer to Central, sometimes lugging only a half chunk under each arm, making another neat stack. The thought occurred to me how much faster this laborious job would go if I had a couple Husky Green Bay Packer linemen to help me. On the 13th of March, we got around 1.5 inches of snow, so I started sledding the split pile 230 yards to the wood landing. A total of 13 sled loads, making another neat pile. Then I began walking out the limbwood pieces on my shoulder to the wood landing, again another 230 yard distance. Anybody getting tired yet?